Hello, this lesson is for my students stuck at home today. We missed you in class today, but don't worry, we're not going to let you fall behind. Today we worked on page 27 in your textbook. You can either get it on the Canvas page by going to the practice work for the day, and there is a digital copy and you can write on it using the tools in Canvas. Or just open your textbook and do it right on your textbook, page 27. The first three problems require you to change fractions to decimals and decimals to fractions. So number one, 7 divided by 20. Remember 7/20ths, that fraction bar, means 7 divided by 20. When you do that, you should get a number less than 1. 7/20ths is a fraction. It's less than 1. If you get an answer that's more than 1, that means you did something wrong. You probably flipped the 20 and the 7. Remember, you need to do 7 divided by 20. Okay, so you should get 0.35. If you don't get 7.35, or 0.35, sorry, go back and do it again. Okay, the next one, you have to remember it's 27 hundredths. It's not actually 27 hundredths. The 2 and the 7 are repeating, so it's 0.27, 27, 27, 27, 27. You have to remember there's a trick to that. You go back in your notes, you'll find, what do you put in the denominator? It is not 100, because it's not 27 hundredths. It's 27 repeating, so there's something else that goes into the denominator. And then number 3, it is more than 1, so you're going to have 1 point something. Okay? The next ones, it says, solve each equation for x. These are square roots. So you'll need to take the square root of 81. Now, technically, they have not asked if they want the positive or the negative square root. And they're not asking for square root. They're just saying solve for x. So most of the time they're asking for the positive one, but there's actually 2. Remember that. So you've got a positive and a negative. Okay, so you need 2 answers for that one. Number 5, that's the cube root. Remember, there's 3 numbers being multiplied together to get 343. Those should be in your notes, but if not, just start with 1 and go 1 times 1 times 1. No, that's not it. 2 times 2 times 2. Nope, that's not it. 3 times 3 times 3. 4 times 4 times 4. And keep going up until you get to 343 if you don't have it memorized yet. And then lastly, it's the same thing. You need to take the square root of 1 over 100. So it's going to be 1 over something. And don't forget there's also a negative on there. Go through. There is a word problem for number 7, and if you keep going down, it says sets of real numbers. Write all names that apply to each number. As a reminder, you're only dealing with real numbers, so everything needs to say real. Then it can either be rational or irrational. It cannot be both. So everything is real that you're dealing with, but then you have to decide, is this a rational number or an irrational number? Then after that, if it is rational, you need to go a little bit further and tell me if there's any other categories or classifications that you could put it in. Is it technically an integer? Is it a whole number? Okay. Next up is 1.3, ordering real numbers. Okay. So in this case, number 11, the square root of 8, that's not a perfect square, so you're going to have to approximate. It's okay, look it up. Find out, how do I approximate the square root of 8? Then you're going to add 3 to it. Then you're going to see, okay, is that greater than or less than or equal to, it's not equal to, 8 plus the square root of 3. Once again, 3 is not a perfect square. So you are going to have to approximate the square root of 3. Okay, and then you'll add that to 8 and see which one is bigger. Number 12, kind of the same deal. Okay. Figure out which of those is bigger. Numbers 13 and 14, you have to figure out what each of those are and then put them in order. Like I said in the previous video, you're going to want to change everything into a decimal. So instead of the square root of 99, you're going to find out, okay, as a decimal, what is that? It's pretty close to 100, but it's not 100. So the answer is not 10. Okay, it's a little less than 10, but it's not 9. It's closer to 10 than that. Okay, so then pi squared, remember pi, we're going to approximate that as 3.14, and then you're going to square it. And then 9.8 repeating. Now that's already decimals, so just leave it, okay? And then you're going to need to order them. When you order them, don't write the decimal version. Once you find out what what pi squared is, don't give me the decimal, actually write it pi squared, and then the next one, and then the next one, okay? And that goes for number 12 as well, or number 14 as well, okay? If you have any questions, I'm going to set up a Teams meeting on Friday at 8 o'clock. So if you want to go over the answers to these, I will post those at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. We can meet on Teams. I'll send out a link that you can join. It is not required. You do not have to join at 8 o'clock tomorrow, okay? But if you would like to, go ahead. I'll send it through Canvas, and you can join. We can discuss any problems that you struggled with. We'll go over the answers. You can check your answers then as well, and then I'll set you free to go ahead and start your test, okay? The test tomorrow is just like this module quiz. It's going to go rational and irrational numbers, changing fractions to decimals, decimals to fractions, approximating square roots, telling me what type of number you can classify a given number as, and then ordering, which is bigger, which is smaller type things, okay? Alrighty, stay safe.